Hey guys, my name's Frankie, and recently I've been seeing a lot of commotion about the Pelington. Some people saying it's great and some people saying it's just not worth using. From my experience with the ground loop Pelingtons, I was siding on the "this gun sucks" side of the argument, but it got me wondering why people like it so much. Maybe a fully kitted out version of the Pelington is actually good? And how does it stack up to my favourite SPR? Well, that's what we're going to be taking a look at today, the SPR versus the Pelington. So let's get down to business.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
In this video, I'll only be using the meta builds for both weapons, since those are the builds you'll be taking into Warzone with you, once you've leveled up the gun to unlock all the best attachments, obviously. So for the SPR, that's the monolithic suppressor for the extra damage range and the additional hidden bullet velocity, the SPR 26-inch barrel for more damage range and bullet velocity, the tac laser for the ADS speed up, aiming stability and aim walking steadiness, and for the scope, I tend to go with the variable so I can use it at shorter ranges, as well as the 8x zoom for targets further away. And finally, the normal mag for yet more bullet velocity and range. And for the Pelington, that's the wrap suppressor, which works a lot like the monolithic suppressor, the 27.2 combat recon barrel for more bullet velocity, and here you can go with either a different optic or a stock. It's entirely your choice. If you do go for an optic, just remember that the 3x, 4x and 5x scopes give you no glint. That is a big thumbs up for Warzone. Next, we've got the jungle grip for the ADS time, and finally the fast loader. Again, you can put on the 7-round mag because, as I understand it, the 7-round speed mag actually slows down your reload time. So now we've got that out of the way, let's dive into the Warzone physics of the weapons. And first we'll take a look at the aim down sight time. Having timed this in my footage, the SPR came out with 520 milliseconds to ADS, and the Pelington came out with 450 milliseconds. A very clear winner here, which is kind of surprising since I thought the Pelington seemed to ADS a lot slower than the SPR. My guess, it's the clunky animation of the ADSing that makes the Pelington appear slow, but it actually isn't. Even if it is only 1 frame faster than the SPR, 1 point goes to the Pelington. Another handling mechanic that is quite important in Warzone world is the swap to your primary or secondary weapon. Usually, you're going to pair your sniper with an assault rifle, so that's what I tested for in this video. As it turns out, the weapon swap time for both the SPR and the Pelington are exactly the same. You can see in the footage the point that I pressed the button to swap the weapon. They have different animations in the beginning, but the AR coming into shot is basically identical, give or take the minute millisecond difference from my editing. So what about one of the most important mechanics of a sniper rifle, the bullet drop? For this one, I stood 140 meters away from this little target here. I aimed at the bottom right of the corner of the sign and I took my shot. And as you can see, with a fully maxed out Pelington, it's identical to the SPR from this range. No real winner here, so can we find any big differences between these two rifles? Enter the bullet velocity, and what that is it's how fast the bullet will travel from the moment it leaves your gun to hitting the target. To measure this, I needed something static that would give me a hit marker, so I found the nearest vehicle, I marked it on the map.
Hello.
Anyway, I marked the quad bike on the map, stood back by 150 meters and I took the shot. What you can see is the SPR hitting the target a whole 3 frames faster than the Pelington's bullet does. The problem with bullet velocity is that it's hard to measure accurately because of the variables in frame rate and stuff, but I gave it my best shot. So the Pelington came out right around 1091 meters per second, and the SPR came out with 1174 meters per second. Head and shoulders above the Pelington, which is why it probably seems easier to land those long distance shots with the SPR, because you don't need to give it as much lead time. 1 point to the SPR. Next, I tested for the fire rate, and again the SPR comes out on top here, even with the fast loader attachment on the Pelington. What I did for this is I just aimed at the sky and spammed the trigger until the gun ran out of bullets and started the reload action. The SPR comes out with 47 rounds per minute, and then Pelington comes out with 44 rounds per minute. You could make this even faster on the SPR with the featherbolt attachment, which would take the SPR up to 56.4 rounds per minute, but I favour the tac laser over this for the ADS time. The idle sway I won't really go into because as yet there's no attachments on the Pelington to sort that out, but they're both very similar in this regard, so I'll put a clip here just to show you. And last but not least, the most important stat for the weapons, the damage they will do. So the SPR comes out with 1-shot headshots from any distance, 2 shots to the chest and 3 shots to the rest of the body. The Pelington comes out with 1-shot headshots obviously, 3 shots to the chest and 3 shots to the rest of the body. And that 2-shot to the chest gives the SPR a massive edge in this comparison because the Pelington fires slower and it's 3 shots to the chest. That's a game changer in Warzone and gives the SPR a huge competitive advantage. So which one do I think is the best rifle to use in Warzone, if you haven't guessed already? Well, they both have similar stats in some areas, and there are some things the Pelington just does better than the SPR, like the ADS time and the visibility through the scope, but in practice, I have to hand it to the SPR on this one. Especially since it's a 2-shot kill to the chest and you can get more shots out there quicker, and it feels less clunky to use, and the bullet velocity is a lot better than the Pelington. What do you think? Do you prefer the new Cold War weapons, or do you like to stick with your old favourites when venturing into Warzone? Do you enjoy using the new Cold War stuff? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Toodaloo!